everyone. Thank you so much for joining me for this impromptu webinar. My name is Danielle Zanzarov, and I am so excited to have you join me today. There is a lot of important information that I want to share with you, and a lot of what's going on these days with COVID-19. I think that some of this information is just so critically important. So thank you for being here today. So we're going to talk about natural solutions for immunity and inflammation. First, we usually do these kind of classes and stuff at South Bay Wellness. So for those of you who don't know, South Bay Wellness is a real brick and mortar location. I'm broadcasting to you live right now from our office in Sayville. So, this is what it would look like. Normally you would come in, we would be interacting with each other, and we would be talking about things like health and your immune system and thyroid function and weight. And instead, we are doing it this way, which I am very grateful to have this technology to do so. So please go ahead, leave your questions and comments in the comment section. We really want to hear from you. We want to know what your questions are. I will make sure at the end of this presentation that I get all of your questions answered. You will have an opportunity, stay on for the webinar. I'll give you an opportunity to sign up for a free 15-minute discovery call with me so we can dig a little bit more into your health and what you're looking to accomplish. Usually what we'll do is at the end of these kinds of webinars, I'll give you the opportunity to, register and sign in for a wellness consultation. And those consultations are typically valued at $287, but we discount them because you're getting all this information in the webinar. We don't have to spend all that time doing it in the consultation. So we do them for $87. But given all that's going on, and there's such a demand right now for proactive healthcare, that we're starting with that free 15-minute discovery call. I don't want to waste your time, your energy, your effort, your money. So we're starting with that free 15-minute discovery call, and I'll show you how you can do that at the end of the webinar. We'll drop a link into the comment section. You can go right to our calendar and book yourself in for a discovery call. Okay. So I know there's so many things, especially when we're at home, that are competing for our time. I ask that you please go ahead and turn off all distractions. So, I know what it's like. I've got 4 kids and the dog and the cats, and, there's always noise around. But go ahead and turn off all distractions so that you can listen and be present and really hear, the message of the presentation today, because there's a lot of valuable information here. So I want to start with Michelle here. Michelle is one of our practice members, and Michelle came in, I remember, she was exhausted. She had been to doctor after doctor for infections and just couldn't get the resolution for her health that she wanted. I remember her saying, my body just isn't right, and I don't know what to do, and I need a different approach. So here's just a little message from Michelle.
I recently opened up a business and was suffering from the effects of what a new business can do to somebody. A lot of stress and fatigue, and my immune system was completely compromised. I was really struggling, and a friend of Danielle over at South Bay Wellness, and I went over to see her. And much to my surprise, everything that she has recommended has worked. All the supplements, the drinks, dietary changes, good therapy, friendship has made all the difference in my life. Today I'm feeling so much better and stronger, and I just feel great. And I'm grateful to her. She has made me feel so much better than I've felt in a really long time. I just think she's wonderful.
I start with Michelle's information here. Oops, I played it again. Sorry. I start with Michelle here because I know that many of you signed on for this webinar today because you are looking for something different. Maybe you're in the place where she was, where you're experiencing fatigue or you're just not feeling right. So I invite you to hang in there. We're going to give you some hope. My real desire is to make sure that you leave this presentation today with hope, with knowing that there is another way that you can actually find resolution for chronic illness, for aches and pains, for fatigue, that there is another approach that you can take. So let me just go and give you a little bit of information about myself. So my name is Danielle Zanzarov, and I am one of the co-founders here at South Bay Wellness Center in Sayville. And what you really need to know is, people are always like, but Danielle, you're so healthy. But I didn't always start out this way. When I was a child, I grew up like most people, right? So I like to tell this story. My brother and I, we used to sit on the couch, and Daddy would go to work, and we'd sit on the couch and we'd go, Daddy, please bring home McDonald's. Daddy, please bring home McDonald's, right? And lo and behold, Daddy would come home with what? McDonald's, right? And then we'd have Carvel along with it for dessert, okay? And I remember I had mint chocolate chip ice cream with hot fudge, whipped cream, wet walnuts, pineapples, and the cherry on top. I had all of it, right? So I grew up like everybody else. I came home from school and I had my American cheese sandwiches after school. That was just the way it was, right? But I suffered from chronic asthma when I was a child. I was one of those kids that was off on the side. I could never run. I could never do gym class because I had this asthma. And then I always had chronic ear infections and strep throat, and all of those different things always happened to me. If it was a holiday, you could assume that Danielle was going to be sick. That was my childhood. Then I got a little older. I went to college and I did what everybody else did. I stocked up my dorm room. I started living on coffee. And then all of a sudden, my digestive issues started. And I did what I had always done. I went to the doctor. The doctor sent me in for a bunch of tests. Nobody could figure out what the heck was going on. And the doctor said, listen, Danielle, here's what I want you to do. Here's your prescription. I want you to just take this for the rest of your life. You'll be good, no problem. And I stopped for a moment and I said, wait a second, something here doesn't make sense. And so that really began my inquiry into what is health? Because up until that point, I had never even experienced what health is. I have a lot of compassion for clients who come in and they're like, I'm okay. And then you see the list of medications that they're on. And it's like, well, wait a second, you actually can feel really good. So I share with you this story because I really get what it feels like not to feel well. But I digress. Just a little bit about my background. So fast forward all that time, my journey has taken me. I have a PhD in natural medicine. I have extensive studies in clinical nutrition and functional medicine. But more importantly, I've made the change. I live the life. I don't ever ask my clients to do things that I haven't done myself, right? And I've spent a lot of time looking for the truth when it comes to health and wellness, looking for the truth and putting it together in an easy way so that people can actually experience good health. So that's a little bit about me. I want to share with you another person who's instrumental in my life. And this is Joan. And Joan is one of my mentors. Joan had a heart of gold. She is the one who took care of everybody. She made sure that everybody had joy and happiness and everything that they needed in their lives. And Joan taught me that when you just really give of yourself and when you give people love, and when you listen to them and understand them, you can inspire them and give them hope and transform lives for them. And so, Joan was my mentor in that, but Joan was also my mentor for another reason. She had, like I said, this enormous heart of gold. But the thing about her heart of gold is she never actually stopped to take care of her own heart, her own health, her own physical needs. I know Joan loved kids. It was like her sweet spot. She would take in foster kids all throughout her life. Her and her husband even adopted this one child who was physically and mentally disabled that wasn't going to have a home anyway. They took her in, they embraced her, they loved her, they made her their own, and they took care of her. That's just the kind of person that Joan was, right? She sacrificed all that she had for other people. But I know Joan loved children. It was her sweet spot, like I said, and she didn't always get the opportunity to play with her grandchildren or run around and do things as she got older because she just didn't have the physical stamina, the wherewithal to do so. So, I had moved away, and one of the last times I had seen Joan, I remember sitting at her dining room table, and she had a friend over, and her friend was seated next to me, and she loved to entertain, and she'd love to be with people. And I remember she was putting something on the table. I don't remember what it was. It was brownies or cookies or something like that on the table. And she froze, and her whole body shook. And I said, Nan, are you okay? And she couldn't respond. She didn't respond. She couldn't respond in that moment. And it was at that point that I realized just how much her health was really suffering. And her friend who was next to me turned around and said, Danielle, your grandma is really sick. And I really got it in that moment. So fast forward a couple of months later, Joan was actually feeling a little bit better than she had felt in a while. She had agreed that she was going to go with my aunt. They were going to go look at cabinets. They moved from Brooklyn to Long Island to get away from things and to settle down. And this was something she had been dreaming of. And so it was time to, redo the kitchen and make it the home that she really loved and wanted to be in. So she was going to go out and look for cabinets. And she went to open the refrigerator door to take something out. And that's when the heart attack came, and it was the heart attack that had ended her life. And so I tell you the story because my grandma is my inspiration. She is the reason why I do what I do. I go back in my mind, if I knew then what I knew now, wow, I could have made a difference for her. She could be here today playing with my 4 children. I mean, I know she's up there, she's with them, but she could be here in person playing with them and enjoying with them. And so I do what I do day in and day out because I know that nobody ever has to suffer from chronic illness, and that we do have the power with proactive approach by focusing on prevention where we don't ever have to get to that point. So I'm thrilled that you're here this evening, and I'm hoping to leave you inspired and ready to take action in your health. So today we're going to we'll cover a little bit about COVID-19. It's like the elephant in the room. We have to cover it, right? We're going to talk about the healthcare crisis in America. We're going to go through immune imbalances and inflammation, which is what many of you came on here to hear about. Okay, and then we're also going to talk about how you can take action to protect your health naturally. Okay, and then as I had mentioned before, please stay into the end because I'll show you how you can actually take action, how you can take back control of your health. And you'll learn how to receive a free 15-minute discovery call, and that will give you the opportunity to start on your journey to optimal health. And along with that, those of you who join on for the call, I will send you my Immune Boosting Hacks ebook as a bonus. So you'll get that as well. So hang on. I know that we've also put the link. You can click on the link at any time. That's in the comment section there, and schedule yourself right for the discovery call. Okay, so I know some of you are on this call, you know, even where Michelle was when she first came in. Maybe you're feeling overwhelmed, like there's so much going on right now, right? Some people, I know, they're coming in and they're talking about how scared they are. You know, they're scared because what's going on now, COVID-19, is really shining a spotlight on our health, and it's really shining a spotlight on where we need to improve our health. And a lot of people are scared, like, can my immune system handle this if I get it? You know, a lot of us are on information overload. There's so much information coming at us from all different directions right now. And so we're like, what do we do with all of this? And so today I really want to help pull that all together and share with you how you can take a proactive approach to your health. So no matter where you are in those different areas, I got it. We're going to take you and move you forward through there. So I know a lot of people, when they come in, they are starving. They're starving for motivation. They're like, well, I want to lose weight, but I just can't, you know, get myself. Need a plan. I don't know how to do this. You know, a lot of people, they're coming in, they're looking for a blueprint. They're looking for a system. They're looking for a way to be proactive about their health. You know, everyone says that their health is important, and really their health is important to them, but sometimes they're just missing some of these pieces. And we're going to talk today about how important it is to have all of the pieces of your health addressed. So first, I want to begin with a very serious conversation, okay? I want us to start to look at what's happening with our healthcare system. And, you know, I put this little quote here because this is something that Donna had said when she came in. She said, well, you know, I started with one medication for my blood sugar about 2 years ago. It was creeping up. And then within 18 months, I was taking 7 different medications. And that was just the normal part of life for me, right? And you know, Donna would have said, you know, and I felt okay, like I was good, like I didn't have any problems, right? But that's where a lot of people are. We start with, you know, that one medication, and then there's almost this downward spiral that occurs. So we are in a healthcare crisis. There is so much wrong information out there. There is so much missing information out there. Okay, so I want you to stop for a second. Everybody get ready for your keyboards, because I want you to type this into the comments. Are you ready? So I want you to finish my sentence. Milk does a body what? Milk does a body what? Go ahead and just type that into the comment. So many of you already know milk does a body good, right? The marketing has been brilliant. It's been drilled into our minds, right? And we've been told milk does a body good. We've been told Nutella, for example, is an amazingly healthy breakfast, a great start to your day. Or let's think about what happens with the commercials on TV, because that's where a lot of this information comes, the packaging, the store shelves, the TV commercials, the ads that we see day in and day out. But, you know, let me paint a picture for you here. You see an ad come up on the TV. It's a commercial, and you see an older woman, and she's sad and she's depressed, and you know, the screen is dark, and we learn on the commercial that she's suffering with depression. And then we learn that there is a medication that can absolutely fix that depression, right? And very quickly the commercial goes through all the side effects of the medication super fast, so you can't even catch them, right? And then at the end, the screen goes light, and she's dancing around and having a good time and playing with her grandkids and all of that. Okay, so you get what I'm saying. We're being like programmed with all of this information, and we're taught to think in a specific way. So, but what's happening is we've actually got a bunch of unacceptable costs and unacceptable outcomes with our healthcare system. We have $2.5 trillion spent in the current healthcare system. 70% of that is spent on lifestyle-related diseases. 70%. And that is expected, that amount is expected to grow. By 2023, we are looking at $4.3 trillion. I mean, we're talking about 16% of the GDP. That's a big deal. Double the amount of any other developed nation. Okay. And we've got this amazing acute care system in our country, right? If we're hit by a car or we're having a heart attack, like, we've got the best doctors in the world to deal with those things. Yet our country is ranked the 37th in the world when it comes to health outcomes. So something is wrong here. So like I said, COVID-19, actually, I think it provides us an opportunity. We're all on pause, right? Our lives are on pause, but it gives us an opportunity to pause and reflect and to focus on our health. And I think what's beautiful is that we have the opportunity to actually emerge from this saying, hey, you know what? I took this as an opportunity to be proactive about my health. I took this as an opportunity to, get myself into shape, to take action, to invest in my future. It's funny, you see those posts on Facebook, right, where they're like, I lost 20 pounds and I'm doing this and I'm doing that. And then, at the bottom of the post, it's like, haha, just kidding. But really, we do have an opportunity to take this time to really create change in our health, to be proactive, to invest in our health and in our future. So just briefly, a little bit more about COVID-19. And I think this is really important because here's where the light is shining, right? The light is shining is, when do we need to be concerned, really concerned about COVID-19? And we see that those who are having the hardest times with the virus are those who are older and those who are suffering from serious chronic medical conditions. That's those conditions: heart disease, diabetes, lung disease, blood pressure issues, cholesterol, those who are smoking and vaping. So when we are faced with those things, we put ourselves at greater risk for having a more difficult time with COVID-19. But these are also some of the things that we do have some power and control over. So, okay, we can't stop aging. I wish, right? If anybody figured that out, they'd have like the magical formula, but we can't do that. But there's a lot we can do, right? And keep in mind, a lot of what we consider aging, like osteoporosis, arthritis, weight gain, waking up at night to urinate, we think these things are a normal part of aging. They're actually not a normal part of aging. We don't have to have awful menopause. We don't have to have osteoporosis. We don't have to get arthritis, okay? So there are things that we can do. We can be proactive, right? We want to consider our food as medicine. Food can heal the body. It was what the body was designed to utilize as its nourishment, right? We can address blood sugar imbalances, improve heart health, boost the immune system, minimize inflammation, calm the autoimmunity, balance our hormones. These are actually all things we're going to talk about as we continue in this presentation. And I know I've already covered a lot of stuff, so please, if you have questions, go ahead and stick them in the comment section, and I'll make sure that we address these questions by the end of the presentation if we haven't already addressed them in the comment section for you. Okay? So COVID-19 is really our opportunity to wake up. It's really our opportunity to be proactive. And I want to just share with you, these are the pillars of health that we work with in our practice. And each and every one of them is important for healing and for good health. And we have to have all of them. All of them need to be addressed. A lot of times people come in and they say, oh, you know what, Danielle, but I've tried a fitness routine, or I've tried a nutrition routine, but it didn't work. Well, we need to address all of the pillars in a systematic way so that we can actually achieve and get to what are the root causes. Why are you experiencing the things that you are experiencing? So for those of you who are just tuning in, just real briefly, so we've kind of walked through COVID-19 already. We've talked a little bit about America's healthcare crisis. We're going to talk about immune imbalances and inflammation, and I'm also going to share with you how you can take action to protect your health naturally, because that's what I'm all about. So again, like I said before, if you stay until the end, you'll learn how to receive a free 15-minute discovery call with me. I had mentioned before, normally when we do these kind of lectures in the office, you usually have the opportunity to just sign up for one of our wellness consultations. Those consultations are usually priced at $287. But because we've already given you a lot of this information, I don't have to go through it again. We discount that to $87. But you know, given everything that's going on, and we have a large demand for proactive health services right now, we are actually starting with the free 15-minute discovery call. I don't want to waste your time, my energy, my time, your energy, your time. We don't want to waste anybody's money either. So we start with that free 15-minute discovery call. And then for those of you who join us for the 15-minute discovery call, you also get our bonus immune boosting hacks ebook. So stay on to the end. And there's also a link actually in the comments section where you can go ahead and schedule your discovery call at any point during the call. A lot of people will schedule just as we're going through the presentation. So I wanted to share with you this quote because I think it sheds light on how important it is for us to be proactive in our health, right? So this comes directly from Medicare. And what it says is that care that seeks to prevent disease, promote health, and prolong and enhance quality of life, okay, is not considered medically necessary. Whoa. This is a big deal because this is the kind of care that we actually need for good health and vitality. You know, the system that we're kind of in is pretty specific. This is the way we've kind of been trained. And I've got fantastic doctor friends and nurse friends, and we've had a conversation like this is kind of how it goes, right? Somebody walks in, and the first thought is, okay, what medical condition do they have? And then the second thought is, okay, what drugs do they need, right? What do they need in order to manage that medical condition? That's the way that we operate. So, I mean, think about it. You have a headache, you're like, okay, let me grab an aspirin or an Advil or something like that, right? Or something's wrong and we go to the drugstore to find something that will fix that symptom. You know, the pharmaceutical industry spends billions of dollars a year to make us think this way. You know, it is sort of a paradigm that we're in. But, you know, thyroid issues, diabetes, hormone imbalances, heart disease, these things are all the equivalent of prescriptions for life. So this model is a model of prescriptions for life. And so one of the things that we do here in our practice is we take a very proactive approach. We want to get to the bottom of what is it that's causing those symptoms? What is it that's causing those health issues, right? Because we don't want prescriptions for life. We want health. We want vitality. We want to feel good. We want to enjoy playing with our grandchildren. So it's kind of like this. I like to use this analogy. You think about the car, the check engine light goes on. Let's consider that's like a symptom, right? There's a headache. The check engine light comes on. We have a headache. All right. So you could go and turn the check engine light off. Okay. What's going to happen? What's going to happen after you turn the check engine light off? Go ahead and type in what's going to happen when you turn the check engine light off. Okay. Eventually that check engine light's going to go back on, right? And then you can turn it off again, and then it'll go back on again. And what's going to happen is that car is going to break down. That engine is going to break down. It's the same thing with our health. It's like a symptom is like the check engine light going on. And the longer we just ignore that symptom or stick a Band-Aid on that symptom, the more the body begins to break down. So it's really important that we address what the underlying causes are of the symptoms that are occurring, right? So let's talk about some of the symptoms that people usually come in with. So some of the symptoms, things like fatigue and tiredness. This is like what Michelle walked in with, okay? So a lot of people come in, they're just exhausted. I had a phone call with someone today and she said, yeah, I'm okay, but I absolutely need my cup of coffee to start my day. Okay, we shouldn't need a cup of coffee to start our day. Okay, other people come in with bowel issues, and I have a sweet spot for bowel issues, right? Because like I said earlier in my journey, I was having digestive issues, heartburn, constant nausea, and I know what it's like to just feel awful. And so bowel issues are something that people come in with so many times. And again, this is another one of those symptoms that there's something else going on. Here's an example of John. So John came in. John's funny. John was pretty skeptical when he came in at first. And you can see what he says here. But John had been dealing with IBS for such a long time. And he was really looking for getting some relief. This has been something he had dealt with really, for months here, but on and off for his life. And doc said, okay, just take the Imodium every day. And John was like, you know what? This is enough. I need a different approach. And, since then, John's stomach has been way, way better. His, he hasn't been on antibiotics for years because we haven't just addressed the stomach. We've been able to address the whole person. We've been able to address his whole immune system, right? His whole body, the whole car versus just sticking the Band-Aid on it. Another thing that we see often as symptoms is depression and anxiety. I can't tell you how many people come in on medication for depression and anxiety these days. And, I know we're all experiencing heightened depression and anxiety right now with everything that's going on. But, there's so much scientific literature that shows us that our mood, our emotions are directly connected to our gut. And so if we're not addressing our gut health, then we're not really addressing some of the underlying causes of our depression and anxiety. How about weight? This is a big one, right? Everyone's like, well, I just got this extra 10 or 20 pounds. In fact, what we're calling right now is people are being stuck at home. Jokingly, I'm calling it the quarantine 15. I had a client who gave me that, and I took that and ran with it. But the quarantine 15. But weight is one of those things that is a symptom. It is a symptom that there's something else happening. Take, for example, Heather. Heather came in after 3 months. She lost 20 pounds. But it wasn't just the weight that was the big deal. If you read here, she had gastrointestinal pain that she had experienced for over 25 years. And by getting to the root cause, by addressing that, we were able to eliminate that gastrointestinal pain. And on top of that, she was more energetic and really learned how to maintain a healthy, vital body and a healthy lifestyle. So weight is just another one of those symptoms. Another one is insomnia and sleep issues. We should be able to put our head down at night and fall asleep without issue. We should be able to stay asleep throughout the night, not have to wake up, not have to get up even to urinate. I know a lot of people say, hey, it's a natural part of aging. It's really not a natural part of aging. It's actually a symptom. Another one is thyroid issues. Thyroid issues are a symptom. There's something else going on. And this is one that people are coming in with so often these days, right? And a lot of times people will come in and they'll say, well, my doc said everything looks good. My TSH numbers were at a 4. And it's like, whoa, wait a second, hold on. So a lot of times when we look at our blood work numbers, those numbers are based on like a norm-shaped bell curve. They are not based upon necessarily what is normal for the human body, okay? They are based on a specific population, and that may not be representative of what's necessary for your body. And oftentimes the range is so dramatically wide that we're missing a lot of what's going on. Take, for example, vitamin D. I mean, many of you will know, if you've seen, you might have a vitamin D level at, say, 33 or 34, and the test range is 30 to 100. And so you're considered to have normal vitamin D levels. But what we know from the scientific literature, okay, is that 33 is extremely low. And you don't want a vitamin D level of 33. You want your levels to be much higher. So even though that blood work shows that your level is normal at 33, it is not optimal. So here's just a thing from Jean. So Jean came in, and she came in because she was dealing with thyroid disease. She came in because she was dealing with Hashimoto's, right? And what I'll point out from what happened with Jean is she always talks about, you know what, there are my friends and other people I know that have Hashimoto's, and they're exhausted and they're achy, and they're all taking different medications, right? They're all on Synthroid. They're exhausted, they're achy, they're having a bunch of different symptoms, But here Jean is, she's feeling energized, she's getting up, she's ready to go, she's not struggling. And so, when we begin to get to the root cause of things, this is what becomes available for people. So what we've just gone through, and again, guys, if you have questions, go ahead and stick your questions in the comment section, and I'll make sure that I come back and I get all of your questions addressed, unless we've already addressed them in the Q&A section right there. Okay, but these are all symptoms. And what's underneath the symptoms like just the tip of the iceberg, right? What's underneath them is the underlying causes. And we're looking at things like chronic inflammation, hormonal imbalances, digestive issues, nutritional issues, detoxification issues. We go back to those pillars that I showed you before. They're all connected to what's happening underneath. So I ask you, okay, and this is where I'm really here to inspire you. Are you willing to do something different? All of these people who shared these testimonials, they came in, they were probably skeptical of, for example, like John, but they came in and they were like, what I'm doing isn't working. I don't feel well. I want something new. I need a new approach, So COVID-19, again, is our opportunity to start to become proactive, to begin to address these pillars of health. Now, I want to make sure I give you and deliver with you a ton of value. So I want to go through some of these pillars of health so that you can understand how these are at some of the root causes that you might be experiencing. I want to start with stress. Okay. And guys, by the way, if you know that you are ready to take a step, to do something different, to make a change, I invite you, go ahead. We've put in the comments box an opportunity for you to click in and schedule that free 15-minute discovery call. You can schedule that at any point throughout the webinar today. So please feel free, go ahead and do that. So let's talk about stress. Anybody stressed out right now? There's so much going on in the world, right? There's different kinds of stress. So one of the kinds of stress we have is physical stress. And physical stress could be like an accident. It could be a physical trauma. It could also be chronic infections, chronic inflammation. It could also be not exercising or exercising too much. Okay, so physical stress is one of those things that we look at as one of the pillars and one of the underlying causes. The other type of stress is chemical stress. We are exposed to so many different chemicals these days. They're kind of like coming at us all over. I mean, I'm standing in this room right now, and there's probably chemical stress all around me coming from the couches and the carpets and the paint and the floors. But we also get chemical stress from the food that we eat, for example, from the glyphosate that's sprayed on our food, from the pesticides, from the herbicides. So chemical stress is, one of those big underlying causes there. Another one is emotional stress. I think a lot of us are feeling some sort of emotional stress right now, right? We've got maybe ourselves, we're dealing with COVID-19, or maybe we've got family or friends and we're scared and we're worried about them, or maybe, just for a little humor here, we've gone to the grocery store to try to find some toilet paper, or we're just overworked. So emotional stress is a really big deal. Maybe we're stuck inside and we're being bombarded with negative thoughts and negative feelings or negative people. Emotional stress is a very big trigger for people. And then this one is often overlooked, and that's electronic stress. And electronic stress could be, the blue light coming off your screen. It could be the electromagnetic frequencies from your electronics. It could also be, there's physical stress from being hunched over that comes from the electronics. And there's just also the bombardment of information coming through our electronics all the time. So stress is a big one, a very important pillar that needs to be addressed. Another one is nutrition. Our food, and this is an area I'm so passionate about, right? Our food is our best medicine. As we're dealing with COVID-19, we should be looking to boost our immune system, right? We should be adding in berries on purpose every day to get in those extra antioxidants. We should be making sure that we're eating plenty of green leafy vegetables, okay? There are things that we can do with food to keep our body strong and going, okay? Now, I know a lot of you are like, so if we work with you, are you going to put us on some crazy diet kind of thing? Listen, everybody is different. What's important when we work with food as medicine is having it work for your lifestyle. We have practice members who come from all walks of life, right? Some are moms who also have to put food on the table for all of their kids. Others are people who are busy at work and they do a lot of travel, and so they have to mix in that and still try to get healthy eating in. So using food as medicine not only encompasses what it is that you're eating, but how you eat and making it match for your lifestyle. You can have a list of foods that are healthy, but if you're not eating them, it doesn't make any difference whatsoever. So really taking action is the most important piece. And so we work with you on that. So, our health coaches, our system is really designed to get you to be able to eat well, to use food as medicine, and do it in a way that works for your lifestyle. Here's just a couple. This is Frank and Rosa. They are just the cutest ever, right? But they came to me because they were looking to eat better. They were looking to have a healthier lifestyle. Frank is diabetic and he had asthma. Rosalind is pre-diabetic, and they wanted to have better health, okay? And you'll see what they really came out with is a new way of thinking about food and about what's healthy and about what they're putting into their bodies. So this is the kind of work that we do. Okay, the next pillar is detoxification. And one of the big things we focus on, and the gut can almost be its own pillar by itself. It really can, because it's related in so many different areas. We already talked about how it can relate to anxiety and depression. But the gut is vitally important, and a lot of what happens these days is we end up with so much swelling and inflammation in the gut. And if you imagine the gut is like, if I intertwine my fingers here and I create like a roof, when you've got that swelling and inflammation, it starts to come apart. And so things begin to leak through that aren't supposed to leak through. Your body doesn't want food coming out of anywhere through its tract from, mouth to anus. But when it does and stuff gets to come out, then we start having inflammation. Then we end up with things like autoimmune disease. So it's really important to address the gut. And our immune system, as we're all focused on boosting our immunity right now, our immune system resides in the gut. So making sure that our gut is intact is a really key and critical part of having optimal health. It's an important part of having a proactive approach to your health. When we go to the grocery store, we're not necessarily given the best stuff that's going to support detoxification, the best stuff that's going to support our guts. We're faced with things like genetically modified organisms. We're faced with things like food dyes. Okay, we're faced with chemical additives and preservatives, and all of these things are things that we need to take a look at in terms of detoxification, because we need to give the body the opportunity to be able to function at its best. And it can do that. Our bodies are so darn smart. I see it every day as people detoxify, as they address all these pillars, they get well and they feel good. Another key part, we can't talk about detoxification without talking about the liver. The liver is like the most awesome organ in the body, I think. It's just beautiful. And the liver needs detoxification. It spends so much of its time detoxifying everything that comes into our bodies. But it is so important to so many different functions in our bodies. So when we think about hormones and hormonal balance, the liver is responsible for helping produce some of those hormones, right? The liver is responsible for helping us manage blood sugar. The liver is so important for so many different things that focusing on the liver and detoxification is vital to having good health. Hormones, this is a big one. So all these little chemical messengers that run around in our body telling everything what to do, they need love and attention. And when things are out of balance, when one of those other pillars are out of balance, so do our hormones become out of balance. So again, we need to address all of those different pillars. And you can see, this is like body types that are related to different hormonal imbalances. So I think it helps give you a visual of what's happening. But you could take, for example, someone who's got excessive estrogen. You'll see they've got that hormonal imbalance where it's in their hips and their thighs, right in that lower area. You take someone with adrenal imbalances and you've got that belly, that midsection weight there, that jiggly midsection weight. And, listen, we go back to stress again. You see, starting to see how all these pillars kind of all interplay together. But we go back to stress again. Our bodies were not designed for the chronic stress that we deal with day in and day out. Our bodies were designed, like when we experience stress, our bodies are expecting us to run from the darn tiger, except we're never running from the tiger. And so it creates imbalance within our bodies. Another one that we have is thyroid. Thyroid imbalances are rampant. And thyroid imbalances, you'll see there's just kind of weight throughout the body, excess weight throughout the body with thyroid imbalances. It's not always just from the thyroid. There are other organs that are involved in the production of thyroid hormones. Even, for example, the functioning of the liver, where thyroid hormones get converted, is critically important to thyroid function itself. And then finally, just to put on here, again, stress the importance of the liver, which is responsible for so many of those hormones. You can see when the liver is out of balance, right? You've got that beer belly, that hard beer belly right in front coming out of there. And, speaking about the liver, everyone's like, well, Danielle, can I drink on your program? Can we drink when we're working with you? So guys, I say, stop, wait, hold on. I'm not saying you're never going to be able to enjoy some of the things that you've enjoyed before, right? But before we can think about having a glass of wine, for example, we have to make sure that the body can properly detoxify. And to do that, the body actually has to be detoxified. You have to go through a detoxification process. And I'm not talking about like buying some kind of detox cleanse from the drugstore that's going to have you have, a lot of bowel movements. That's not real detoxification. Okay, we want to really detoxify from the inside out, and we want to do in a way that addresses the whole body, not just give you laxatives, because that's not going to do the trick and certainly not going to help you in the long term. But yes, once your body is able to detoxify, then we can talk about how to safely have a glass of wine, right? How to have a glass of wine that isn't loaded with glyphosate and pesticides and chemicals, but how to have a glass of wine that you can actually enjoy. So again, if you have questions, guys, go ahead and just stick them in the comments. And for those of you who want to book the 15-minute discovery call with me, you can go ahead. That link is in the comment section also. You can find that and then just click on that. Okay, another really important pillar is fitness. This is like the dreaded vitamin X for exercise, right? Everyone's always like, ah! exercise doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be difficult. I understand a lot of people, when they come in, they're achy. They've got joint pain. They don't have the stamina. They don't even feel good to get out of bed. Nonetheless, want to go out and take a 5-mile run, right? So, I mean, we're being funny and cute here. You've got the, the person walking the dog going out for the walk, but not really walking. But really, fitness doesn't have to be difficult. And when we work with clients, we meet you where you are. We devise a fitness strategy and a fitness protocol that addresses what you need and how you need to achieve it. So for each person, that really is different. When we take a proactive approach to health, there isn't a one-size-fits-all. It is different for everybody. So I also want to address immune function here. And this is an important piece, and we've touched on it a little bit. And you can read, even though COVID-19 is caused by a new virus, in an otherwise healthy person, a robust immune response across different cell types was associated with clinical recovery, similar to what we see in influenza. So what does that mean, right? In plain English, it means that if you have a robust immune system, you can respond to COVID-19 and have less difficult time with it. And so this is really important because we must make sure that our immune systems are strong and healthy, not just now for COVID-19, but for whatever else might show up in the future. And this is all part of those pillars. And, when we look at health, we want to really make sure that we're digging deep into what the underlying causes are. And this is not something that we're used to doing. No, you go into the doctor, you've got 5 minutes, right? That's not enough time to ask questions, certainly not enough time to ask the right questions. And it makes it really difficult to get the answers, really difficult to get to that underlying root cause. And what we do in our practice is we dig in. Your initial paperwork, it's going to take you a little bit of time to fill out, because I want to know a lot about you, because there's all the different pieces that we want to put together. So let's talk about the missing pieces here. So we've covered the detoxification, important, the nutrition piece, the fitness piece. Okay, we've covered hormones. The other thing I want to talk to you that's really important is mentorship. How many people come in and they're like, I've tried this, I've tried that. And sometimes they're trying really great stuff, but they can't stick with it, or they don't follow through with it, or they just don't know how to do it. The mentorship piece is really important. And without that piece, a lot of times the whole thing falls apart. I like to use the example of flying an airplane. So I have no clue how to fly an airplane, okay? But get ready to type, okay? I want to know, I want you to put in the comments box, but I want to know how many of you are going to be willing to get in a plane with me after I have read some books on flying an airplane and after I have watched some videos on flying an airplane. Please write down in the comment section whether or not you would be willing to get into an airplane with me after I've read it and watched some videos, movies. Yeah. Hopefully you've said there's no way you're getting into an airplane with me in that case, right? You want to make sure that I have been trained, that I have been taught, I have been mentored, I have sat in the seat, and I have worked with someone to go through it. And that really is the importance of the mentorship piece. So we sit with you in the seat and we take you through and we help you to transform your health with a proactive, systematic approach. So we consider the entire person by putting all of those pieces together, right? Addressing all of the different pillars. So the nutrition piece, the fitness piece, the hormones, the mentorship, the detoxification, every single one of them is important, because without having all of it together, we end up with failure. 94% of failure is due to not having a system. So in our practice, we have a system that we use. Our practice clients go through a very specific system. And for each person, it's different. So yes, we have a system, but all of the pieces of the system may be different depending on what it is that people are dealing with. Because we need to get to the underlying causes, and each person's underlying causes will be different. So, I really want you to consider this. I like this quote because I think it says it all. Tell me and I may remember. Show me and I will remember. Involve me and I will understand. And so we take a proactive approach where you are actively involved in transforming your health because we want to give you this for the rest of your life. So, okay, I invite you, hopefully I have inspired you to wake up and stop procrastinating like this guy here. I just think that's the cutest cat on the planet. But, we want to wake up and stop procrastinating. You can take all the information, but information is powerless until you actually take action. So I really invite you to take action. Take action. Coming back to my grandma, if I had known back then what I knew today, I would have had the opportunity to have her have more time to enjoy my children, right? But that didn't happen. And I am really committed to a world where nobody ever has to go back and say that, because the information is here. The way to do it is here. We guide you through the process. So I really invite you to take that action so that you can enjoy a vibrant, healthy life. So okay, I said if you waited to the end of the call, I'd tell you more about the free call. So here we are. So in the free 15-minute discovery call that you can book by clicking in the link that's in the comment section there, we're going to do a couple of things. So first, I want to know, what is it that you're going through? What's happening for you, right? And what have you already done to try to address those health concerns in the past? What's been happening? What have you tried to do? And then we'll be able to kind of assess whether or not I can actually assist and help you in your journey. And then if I can, then we'll come up with a plan of action to prepare for your first appointment. Now, just as a reminder, because I know everyone's always asking, well, what's after that 15-minute call? So again, in case you've joined in late, we do the free 15-minute discovery call. Normally when we do these webinars, you have an opportunity just to jump into the consultation. And the consultations, the wellness consultations, are $287. But just because you've been through the webinar, you have all this information, I don't have to rehash it with you. Because you already have that, we do discount that for you. So we discount it by $200. So it's an extraordinary opportunity. So you sit down with me for $87 for the hour, and what we do is we really go through your full health history during that consultation, and we come up with a plan and a program for you to move forward so that you can be proactive with your health. But like I said, because I don't want anybody to invest any money right now that we don't know is going to be worthwhile for them, and not to waste anybody's time or energy or effort, I really just starting with the free 15-minute discovery calls right now. So that's 15 minutes. Just so you're clear, what happens is when you book in the call, you put your phone number in there and I call you. So I'll call you at your scheduled appointment time. So you can go ahead and book that free call by just clicking on the link that's in the comment section, or I've typed it there as well. I know I've had people say, like, I'm having trouble with the computer, I don't know how to do this. Then you can also just call our office, and our office staff will be able to help you book a call in. So, and those of you who come to the call, you will get the free bonus book, the Immune Boosting Hacks ebook. So, thank you guys so much for being here, for taking your time, for giving of yourself, and for really putting your health forward, because I know it takes something. It really does take something to give up your time to listen to a webinar like this. And it really does take something to be committed to your health. So I thank you for being here and for doing that. And I'm going to check to see if there's any questions or comments that I have not answered yet before I go ahead and disconnect the webinar here. So just bear with me for 1 second. Okay, so somebody was asking about craving for sugar. So when we crave for sugar, it's usually the result of having something else that is imbalanced in our diet, and it's something that the body is not getting. So it's looking for that thing, and we're just not giving it to us. So when we look at how to stop the cravings, how to get to the root cause of the cravings, we want to take a look at things like your diet. We want to take a look at things like hormonal balance. We want to take a look at things like stress. So those are some of the things that we address when it comes to that. In terms of autoimmunity, I'm just looking here at the comments. In terms of autoimmunity, concerns about being on immunosuppressant medications right now. So each person is in a very different place with their health and on their health journey. And so when we begin to look at, each person individually, and this is really what that initial consultation is for, where we start to dig into these kind of things at this kind of level, we'll be able to put together a protocol for you that will work in conjunction with wherever you are. People don't just come into the practice and stop their medications. That's not how it works at all. I mean, we actually work hand in hand with your doctor. For many people, their medications are life-saving. If you just stopped your medications, you would feel awful. And that's not the approach that we take. We really want to get your body in a better space and then work with your doctor to be able to address different medications and things like that. But when we're looking at autoimmunity, going back to that, there are so many different factors that play into autoimmunity. What I like to tell people is, our bodies are brilliant. Our bodies know exactly what they need to do to heal. And they do it beautifully and brilliantly. And sometimes when we have a symptom, right, it is because our body is working for survival. That's what our body's main goal is survival, right? So our body wants to survive, but we got osteoporosis. Oh, okay, well, maybe we ended up with osteoporosis because our body didn't have enough minerals. And so what did it do? It went to our teeth and our bones to pull out extra minerals to keep us alive, to buffer our systems. So the body does everything with a reason. And, autoimmunity, the body just doesn't go and attack itself for no reason. Something has happened to cause that kind of response. And so we want to really address what is it that's going on that's been causing that kind of response. And thank you for your question. So working with fatty liver, again, it's the same thing as I've already talked about. So can we help heal the liver? Is amazingly regenerative, right? There are a lot of reasons why fatty liver became an issue. And so we want to get to those reasons, and then we want to start to address them. And you will be amazingly surprised, guys. There are some cases, we can't work with every single person. There are some people who come in that it's past the point that we can assist them. And, if someone's coming in and they are in the middle of a heart attack, they should not be coming in to see me. They should be going to our amazing healthcare workers that know how to deal expertly with acute care situations, right? But when we're dealing with things like chronic illnesses and ailments, then those are the things that we can start to work with and start to address and start to create change. Other questions here. Working virtually. So absolutely. I actually work with people throughout the country. So, we've used Zoom before to do that. Of course, now because the office is technically closed, we are not seeing clients specifically in the office. So we are working with everybody through Zoom. When you book your free discovery call, that 15-minute discovery call we do by phone. So I will call you and we will do that discovery call by phone. And then if you decide to book in for the wellness consultation, that consultation is done via Zoom. So it'll be face-to-face, kind of like you see me now, except not on Facebook for the public. It will be a private a private face-to-face call. So that is how we are working now. Some of our assessments that we usually do in person, we actually have other ways that we're doing them right now. We send some equipment to your home, you use the equipment at your home, and then you send it back to us. So there are ways that we are doing it now also to help people work virtually. Let me see what other questions we have here as well. There is the question about insurance and do we take insurance? So I do want to address that. It's not that I don't take insurance. It's that insurance does not cover the proactive services and wellness curriculum that is provided here. And, it all goes back. I mean, many of you already heard, if you were in here from the beginning, it all goes back to part of that system. And we're actually taking a different approach. We're stepping outside of that system. I've heard the analogy used before, we've got things like life insurance and we've got things like car insurance. And when do you use those insurances? When do you use life insurance and car insurance? You use them when there's a big problem, right? You get your life insurance when you die. You get your car insurance when you've had a car accident, okay? And that really is the way that insurance works. It's not designed, it's really for pills and procedures. It's not designed for pro wellness. And so I know probably the next question that a lot of you guys are thinking of is, well, is this then affordable? And, I'll tell you that we have practice members from all walks of life. We have practice members who are on fixed income. Many of them are on fixed income. We have practice members who are single moms. We have practice members who are teachers. We have practice members who are store clerks. We have practice members from all walks of life. And so when you're committed to your health, and you're really ready to be proactive, we will work with you to find a way to make that work. And so we have had people who always, when that commitment is there, it always seems to work out. Okay, other questions. I said I would stay with you until the end. Are there any other questions? And again, guys, you can go ahead and book in for that 15-minute free discovery call. Okay. I don't see any more questions here. So again, everybody, thank you so much for being with me on this beautiful afternoon. Go out and get some sunshine, staying socially distant, of course. So everybody have a wonderful afternoon, and I look forward to seeing you virtually or talking to you on the phone, or one day having you come into our office here in Sayville. Okay, everyone, have a good afternoon.